listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Cali Estes and Master Coach Jenny Fontana, founders of the Life Coach Method. Each one of our uplifting and deep dive episodes is geared to help you tackle the things that hold you back from having the most magnificent life you deserve. Sit back, relax, and prepare to be coached.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Unpause Your Life. I am Dr. Cali Estes, and my guest today is Sergei Alexei, and you will know him as Half Natty King on Instagram. If you haven't seen him, he's pretty awesome. He's a bodybuilder with the supplement line. We're going to talk about supplements, we're going to talk about steroid addiction, and everything else. So welcome, Sergei.
Thank you, Callie. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I'm glad you're on the show. There's so many questions I have for you. So start off and tell me how you got into bodybuilding, because that sport in itself is like that's a serious dedication. That's not, hey, I'm going to work out 3 times a week kind of a deal. Tell me how you got into that.
Yeah, thanks. Well, that's how it kind of starts. It starts first like, all right, for me personally, I started just working out due to basketball. I wanted to get in shape more, so I started lifting weights. And then you kind of like, as you're slowly working out and you're always in that gym culture, and then you get older and you realize, all right, basketball's not going anywhere. Like when then it starts to the gym culture starts to overtake you, and then you kind of want it more and more and more. So that's where it really starts, is in the gym.
So that's so interesting you said that, because I promote the gym for all things mental health. So if I'm having a bad day, the gym. If I'm depressed, the gym. If I'm happy, the gym. If I'm sad, the gym. And I get my clients into it because of that dopamine rush. And then they get addicted to it.
Yes, it's absolutely the best thing ever. And I always tell people, like, make the gym your comfort zone. Like, it's very easy. When you feel great, it's the easiest thing in the world to go to the gym. I feel so good, I'm gonna go to the gym. Like, anybody can do that. It's the days that you feel like shit, you feel like crap mentally, you feel like crap physically, whatever the case. Obviously listen to your body, where if you're sick, but you just don't want to go, but you push yourself to go to the gym, and then you get that dopamine rush. You're like, oh man, I'm glad I went. Those are the days that count. The days that you don't feel like going and you do go, I believe those are the days that are going to pay off and that they're going to show in your body.
That's true. I always get a better workout when I don't feel like going, because for some reason it's like I get in there and I do 1 or 2 reps. I'm like, okay, all right, we're here. Let's get it going.
We're here. Yeah, blood starts moving, dopamine is going, serotonin is flowing, and it turns out to be amazing. I encourage everybody to hit the gym. Just in general, I mean, it's been proven that movement helps with stress and releases tons of dopamine. So I encourage everybody to do some type of workout. Absolutely. It's so healthy for you.
Now, you got into bodybuilding and selling you have a supplement line, right?
I have a supplement line. Yeah, it's called 50% Natty. So our brand, it's me and my partner, and now we have a third partner that came on that handles marketing. Our brand is more comedy based, and what we push out there, it's just for fun. I do satire comedy. It's fun, but it also tells a real side of what really goes on in the bodybuilding world. I'm not here to fake and give you bullshit like, oh, here, eat this. I'm going to sell you a bullshit workout plan, and you could look like me, shredded, 260 pounds, abs and everything. It's all bullshit. Like, obviously some hormones, performance enhancement, steroids comes into play. So that's what I try to preach. Like, I don't push, obviously, I don't want to push steroids onto people, but I'm giving them a real perception of, hey, if you want to look like this, like you're good. Like, most of the guys that you look up to are any of these influencers, they take gear. Gear is another word for steroids. They take steroids. So I'm trying to give you a real life scenario, real life perception of how things are in the gym. And yes, we do have a supplement line. This is our pre-workout. Notice it's still it's funny. It's Tranabolic pump, we call it. Transgender approved. Another funny thing, like, God, don't take me serious. Everything I do is comedy. We have a creatine and a whey isolate protein. And we got tons of funny shirts and whatnot for you at 50percentnatty.com.
So let's talk about steroids for a second. So you're in the fitness space, you're in the bodybuilding space. Do you think they're addicting? And what does that look like?
Yeah, great question. It is absolutely addicting. And the people that say it's not are lying to you. It is addicting. It's not addicting in the aspect of, like, say for instance, a cigarette. Like, it does, like nicotine, it's like the drug is meant to, like, you crave the nicotine. Steroids is more addicting in a way how it makes you feel, how it makes you look. You get obsessed with getting bigger, you get obsessed with getting leaner, getting shredder, the way your body looks, image issues. So absolutely, steroids is addicting. And, like, I always say, once you join that dark side, once you do one cycle, it's never, I don't know anyone that's ever did just one cycle. It's always like, once you started, you open up a Pandora's box. So you got to be really careful with dabbling even your first time. It's very, very addictive.
In terms of steroids and you personally, have you had other addictions, or did you kind of just get into this? And why did you get into it? What made you say, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, good question again. I never had any other addictions, believe it or not. I've drank, in college, you go drinking. I drink here and there. I didn't really like it. I'm not into drinking a lot. I never did any other drugs. It just honestly just steroids. What made me got into it is the gym culture. You first, you go into the gym, you're working out, and then there's only so much your body is going to do naturally, is going to plateau. And then you see these bigger guys in the gym and you're like, man, these guys are freaking monsters. How I'm working my ass off, I'm eating right, why don't I look like these guys? I want to look like these guys. They're getting all the girls. I'm like, I want to. They're like kings in the gym, and someone you look up to. I'm like, I want to be just like that, like them. And the only way to do it is to take the extra step. But I'm gonna tell you this, and many people get this confused. It's just like, oh, he's only big because he takes steroids. So that's absolutely not true. What steroids, performance enhancement drugs, what they do is they allow your body to grow more. So you have to do more work than you would be naturally. You're pushing your body to the limit. I mean, people think you just, we have a funny saying like inject and chill, like Netflix and chill, or he just injects and chill. No, when you're injecting, you better be hitting the gym hard. Your diet has to be completely on point. It's absolutely more work when you're enhanced.
So it's a lifestyle. It's not just recreational here and there, and all of a sudden I'm going to look like Adonis.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's a total lifestyle, and you got to be really careful with, back when I first started, there's very little information about this stuff. So you kind of have to search the dark web, there may be a few things you find, and pretty much trust a friend from the gym that has dabbled in it. Nowadays, there's so much information about it. There's wrong information as well, but there's a lot of good information. And I think people just have to educate what they're getting into. And I see, and everything is more accessible with online now. So if back in the day, if you wanted to get some gear, you'd have to ask a gym bro and then he'll get it from this guy. It was very hard to get. Nowadays, you can literally do a couple of Google searches and you can order it and it'll be at your front door within a week.
Yeah. I got caught up in the culture of the diet pill addiction back in my 20s, and that's where I started the gym. Yeah. I walked in and somebody said, hey, take this. And I'm like, okay. And then I learned I could take a couple diet pills and eat pizza and ice cream and eat all the garbage, and I was losing weight. And I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And then I couldn't because I almost blew my heart out. But That's
right?
what, yeah, that's how it
Yeah,
starts.
yeah. You really have to understand that you might it might feel amazing especially when you're young your first couple times, but and it's, for me, I made the mistake. I was taking a lot of stuff when I was younger. I'm 40 years old now. I started taking steroids probably 25, 26ish. And back then, again, there's lack of information, so I was taking lots of stuff. And luckily, I'm okay right now. I'm still alive. But now you really have to. It does catch up to you. A lot of organ issues can come about. So as you get older, it's going to catch up, and you really got to be careful. If you follow the history of bodybuilding, a lot of these bodybuilders, they die young. They don't last a long time. So it's a
Yeah.
dangerous road. It's a dangerous road to you know to play against here.
What do you think about these young kids getting addicted at like 18 and 19 to some of
Yeah,
these steroids?
I see it all the time. I know a lot of personally. I don't agree. I don't approve of it at all. Getting addicted while you're young. One, you're shutting down your natural suppression, your natural production of everything. That's your natural at that age. Your natural production is at its highest, and when you're taking synthetic stuff, you're shutting down your natural levels completely. So their natural levels they never get it going. And then once you start that young, it's a very dangerous game you're playing. It can lead to a lot of health risks, especially now. In you're forever have to take TRT, they call it, testosterone replacement therapy, because your natural production has never reached its max, so it's always going to be low. So if you're doing it at that young age, you're you're going to have to stick with testosterone your whole life from then
Yeah.
on. So it's very dangerous to play against.
What do you think
And
about women in this space?
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, this day and age, um, fitness, and I'm sure it's the most popular it's ever been. You
Mhm.
go on any social media, first thing you see is some fit person doing some kind of workout or whatever. It's fitness, fitness, fitness. They're pushing it right in your face, and it's very popular. And it's because of two things, in my opinion. One, obviously, social media, and two, women. Whatever women go, men follow, right? And I love it. I love that women are now getting into weightlifting. I'm so for it. I love it that it's changing. Back in my era growing up, skinny was in. Like, oh, the
Mhm.
skinny you are, the better. Now it's no, skinny's out. It's like muscle is in for women, and I love that. I'm all about that. So kudos, yeah, and yes, and also a lot of women are getting into steroids as well. I think women are doing. I think so. With women, I think they're playing it a bit safer, because with men, they're like, I want to look as huge as possible, right? So they're taking all types of crazy testosterone derivatives or whatever it be, hormones. Whereas women, they're more careful. They're taking the lighter stuff because they still want to keep their feminine look while having some muscle mass, so they're not abusing it as much. What I do feel like women have issues is what you just said, is the diet pills, um, the pills that take water out of you, diuretics, that
Mhm.
stuff. I think women have more issues with than actual steroids. I think women play it more safe than the men.
Yeah. How much would you say your like daily regimen, workout versus food? How much is in the kitchen? Because I've always had heard the saying, abs are not made in the gym, they're made in the kitchen. How much is meal prep and eating clean versus just working out?
And the saying is right. Like they say, 70% is in the kitchen, and that's absolutely right. I started seeing results when I started taking my diet seriously. I used to go to the gym. I'd work my ass off. I ate, like shit. I'll go eat cereal. I'm thinking I'm eating, oh, it's milk, it's protein and cereal, and I'll eat out all the time. And I barely looked like I worked out, to be honest. Like I was big, but that's it. I didn't have any defined muscle. But once I got my diet in check, and diet is everything, and that's when I really started seeing a difference. You really have to know what you're doing, nutrition wise, for your body to start changing. Yeah, it's a huge, very important, very important.
I think a lot of people overlook that. I mean, I do meal prep. I do the grilled chicken, the green beans, a little bit of sweet potato. And then when I eat out, I try to eat as clean as I can when I go out. And everyone says, well, you're eating out, have a cheat meal. I'm like, well, I don't do cheat meals. I eat clean all the time. And I feel
Yeah,
good. I mean, I feel amazing. When I don't eat, I eat like garbage. I feel like garbage.
yeah, absolutely. I haven't had a processed sweet. I can't even remember the last time I had a processed sweet. And I have kids, and they eat processed candy all the time, and it's easy for me to try a little piece of their candy. I have no craving for it at all. Like all my sweet tooth, I'll fill it with sugar. So my opinion on that is, with the processed sugar, is this: is you don't we crave it because your body is just like, is so used to it. So say my my sweet level right now, like a banana, that's my highest sweet level. So, but then when people go past the banana, say the ice cream, so their it goes up, their sweet level goes up. So now their banana's not doing it for them. They have to go higher. So they're craving ice cream. They're craving processed sweet, where the sugar is just in amounts of sugar. But I believe if you detox your body, and it might take long, it might take up to a year to completely just get rid of all the processed sugar. I'm telling you, you are not going to have any cravings. And don't and you but you can't, the trick is, you can't fall back into it. So like that little piece of candy that you're just trying, don't try it, and
Yeah.
and because as soon as you try it, it's like any drug, you fall back right into it. And sugar is probably the worst drug in the whole world, to be honest. In my opinion, it kills so many people.
It's so funny you said that, because when I'm teaching, I teach courses, and one is food addiction. And the first thing I say is sugar is the most addictive drug in America. And people go, no, it's not. And I go, yes, it is.
It
Here's
sure
why.
is.
It's in
Yeah.
everything. And I send them to the grocery store, and they're like, oh, it's not in yogurt. And they call me and they're like, there's, 50 different kinds of yogurt. I can have one. There's only one with no sugar. I'm like, that's correct. And they buy it and they say it tastes like sour cream. And I'm like, that's what yogurt's supposed to taste like. It's
Yep.
not supposed to taste like Yoplait with 30 grams of sugar, but you're so used to eating that it's normal.
Exactly. Their sugar tolerance to just skyrocketing, and they just see it as like, oh, it's plain yogurt. But no, it's already full of sugar, because your tolerance for sweets is such a high level. You have to completely detox from it and bring it back down, where you can have fruit, and fruit is like and it could be your top filling for sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I
Yeah.
have a question for you about the gym culture. Since you've been in it as long as I have, what do you think about the flip flops, the Jesus sandals, and the tiny little micro tank tops the girls wear now?
Hey, you know what? I can't hate, because you know trends change, trends come and go. I don't want to. I'm sure when I was younger, all the old people, or the old folks used to be like, oh, look at this guy, like, that young whippersnapper with his baggy jeans and all that nonsense. And I don't want to become that. And trends change, fads change. So that's the trend now. So be it. And the gym culture has changed, where now it's more influencer friendly. So it's becoming almost like a fashion show kind of. Girls wear their best outfits, men flex their muscles, video camera going. But that's the trend nowadays. It is what it is. You either accept it, or you fall back behind, because that's what it is now. And gym, and you see a lot of gyms are more more accepting of the trends. Like they'll have a posing room. The lighting will be perfect just for video cameras. A lot of gyms are having that. And take like LA Fitness for example. Back in the day when I first started, LA Fitness was the gym to go to. Everybody knew LA Fitness was like the hottest gym around. Now, nobody wants to go to LA Fitness. Like they fell off. They don't keep up with the trend. And now gyms like Crunch, EOS, and other mom and pop gyms even are more influencer friendly, where you come in, it's almost like the music is playing loud. It's almost like a club scene, and the lighting is great. You could video yourself. They allow videos. So it's a whole culture change, and I don't hate it. I'm all good with it.
I'm
Yeah.
watching your funny videos at night. I like to watch them at night. They make me laugh when you're doing. There was a really funny one that you did with you had somebody walk behind you and you froze it and you're like, look, they're staring at me, and you like blew it up, and I'm like, I started laughing, and I'm like, because I've had that happen where I'm working out and there's always that person looking at you like, what are they doing? What's going on over there? It's such a funny video. I'm like, yeah, that's the gym culture.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And that's what kind of I play off on, that the whole gym culture, the satire behind it, where I over exaggerate everything. It's all comedy. So I love doing that stuff. And that's where all my ideas come from, is something that actually like have happened to me, or something I've seen happen before, and I just come up with a skit and I'll make it happen.
that's awesome. It's great because it makes people laugh, and it also introduces them to the gym culture a little bit of, hey, it's not so overwhelming and daunting, and we're still having fun. We're working out and we're interacting with each other and we're joking around, and it can be a
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. Most of these like big bodybuilders that you see there, that's their social time. Like unless you go to like I'm not competing or anything, but a lot of times you go to a gym, you see a big bodybuilder, he's probably doesn't go out. I don't go out. He doesn't go to bars, he doesn't drink. So going to the gym is my social time, my social hour as well. Like, yes, I'm working out, but I like to have fun as well. I mean, what's the point if you're not enjoying yourself, talking to people? Because let's realize, we're humans, we're a social bunch. And those who say, I don't like people, I want to isolate myself, I rather come to the gym when there's no one there, that's just not true. You're lying to yourself. Try that. I dare you to go to your community gym, or find a gym that nobody goes to, and I guarantee you, maybe you'll last for a month, but you're gonna get bored. You're gonna be like, man, I need energy. We're all energy. We feed off each other. You're gonna say, I want to go to a gym where there's people, where I'm seeing some things, I'm smiling, I'm interacting. That's just what it is.
I call it the scenery. Because everybody laughs with me when I travel so much. The first thing I do is check into a hotel and find a gym, like
Yeah,
clockwork. And they're like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, number one, it's fun. Number two, I need my workout from jet lag. But number three, I need scenery. I want to see people. I want to be around my people, and that's where they are. They're not at a bar. I mean, I'm not going to sit at a bar because I don't drink. I'm not
exactly.
going to go out and do those things at night. So what do? I go to the gym. I work out. I'll take a yoga class. I'll take a Zumba class. I try to get involved in what's happening because it is my social hour. And a lot of people laugh at me like, I can't believe you do it because I have 4 gym memberships to 4 different places.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's a going. So like, there's a going to the gym is a great addiction. But there's also like, it could be too much, where if you do get involved, like if you really, like with anything, you can really dive into it, and it become so much where have to, like, you kind of get into that hole where you're taking steroids. It starts to become like, okay, what did I get? What am I in now? Like, it was, you dive in too much. And another funny point, I want to tell you a story. So this was a while ago, and going back to your point of like, is steroids addicting? So I had this friend, right, and he was a recovering, and I know a lot of people like this, and I'm sure you probably do too. So he was recovering. He was an alcoholic, and he's cute. We did a show together, and he was clean, you know, clean from drugs, clean from alcohol, and you know, everybody was like, and he's feeling good. He's praising himself, but he's on steroids. So it's like, okay, yeah, you're not addicted to alcohol, but you're taking tons of steroids. You've been addicted to steroids for 6 years. Like, yeah, you stopped drinking 6 years ago, but you went one addiction to another. And you know, and yeah, you might not, with steroids, it's different because, you know, you don't get drunk, you don't get sloppy, but it's still an addiction. You're still harming your body, and it does create mood changes around you as well. So I just found that really ironic how he was always bragging about his sobriety, but you know, he kind of went from one addiction to another. So it's like, how sober are you really? You know?
A lot of people do that. They have a secondary addiction, and they say, well, you know, at least I'm not crashing my car and getting a DUI and killing somebody. I'm just killing
Which is true.
And I'm
Which is true.
Yeah, but you're still addicted to this. No, I'm not. And I always say, okay, well, put it down. Well, I can't put it down. I don't want to put it down. I'm like, well, then you're, you know, you're addicted to it. So
exactly. Yeah, I just feel like they don't look at it that way, but it is that way.
Yeah, it is. It's true. About 10 years ago, I was on the Dr. Drew show. I don't know if you know Dr. Drew Pinsky.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I was on his show. And
cool.
yeah, the question was, this is way before cannabis was legal. Were you pro or anti-cannabis? And I was always pro. And he's like, well, how are you pro-cannabis? And I'm like, well, you know, pro-cannabis is what it is. You know, it's addiction, but it's the lesser of two evils. So if you're going to do heroin or you're going to do weed, I'd rather you do weed because it's natural, it's better for you. So we had this big debate, and he was, you know, totally against it. And now he changes his mind. He's like, you're right. You know, it's even though it's an addiction, it's the lesser. So similar here, you know, you're not going to get a DUI or kill somebody crashing the car drunk, but you may, you know, kill yourself because you're injecting drugs.
That's true. You're right. Yes, it absolutely is. It's the lesser of two evils. Yes, that is true. So I guess, yeah.
Well, very cool. We are coming to the end of the show. So anything you want to leave our listeners with? Any words of wisdom or things they could think about when it comes to steroids or bodybuilding or working out? Any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I had to do it all over again, I would choose the natural route. I think that's the best way. I think your body is keep it healthy. You know, because again, once you do start the enhancement process, it's like any other addiction. It's tough to get out of it. So I advise is go to the gym, keep healthy, eat healthy, feel good. And that's the key in life. Just feel good and be happy.
Awesome. And we're going to put your supplement line up, and we're going to put the links to everything and your Instagram account in the show notes so people can go directly to your website. If you want to plug that real quick, that'd be awesome.
Sure. It's 50percentnatty.com, and you could find me on all the social medias. Also, just search 50% Natty and it'll come up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Sergei. I appreciate it. Thank
you for having me. It was fun. Appreciate you.
Awesome. And thank you everyone for listening. This is Dr. Cali Estes with Unpause Your Life.
Thank you for listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Cali Estes and Master Coach Jenny Fontana. Head over to www.thelifecoachmethod.com to learn more about coaching yourself and how to become a master coach.